What's going on, NFL fans? Thank you for tuning into this video. And if you want more videos just like this one around the New Orleans Saints, I encourage you to check out Saints Now by Chat Sports. I'm the host over there. My name is Trace Gerard. You see the link below. It's also in the comment section and description of this video. This was posted on our Saints channel, so if you want to go check it out over there and interact with the Saints fans in the comment section, I encourage you to do so. Without further ado, I hope you enjoy the video. Today's show is going to be all about my first mock draft of the 2024 offseason. I'm going to start this one off. We're not going to do any trades. We're not going to be trading any picks or players around this one because I just wanted to talk about draft picks today. In future mock drafts, we will include some trades and whatnot. But guys, let's dive into it. And before we get in, I want to just give you a very friendly reminder to subscribe and help us reach 26,000 subs. We're going to have draft coverage all offseason long. We're going to have live coverage, regular on-demand videos, short-form coverage. We're going to have all sorts of updates, rumors, buzz, draft targets, news, anything that's worth talking about, we're going to discuss it. This 25,000 subs didn't happen on accident. So lock us in so that way you can stay informed around the draft. All right, so to set the scene for the draft picks, New Orleans currently has 5 draft picks for the 2024 season. That's the 14th overall pick in round 1. You have round 2 via Denver, round 5, round 6, and round 7 via Denver through the Sean Payton trade. And the New Orleans Saints are eligible for 3 comp picks, so they will likely get picks for David Onyemata, Marcus Davenport, and Caden Ellis, all leaving in free agency this past offseason. But I wanted to just set the scene and so you guys can be smarter Saints fans, and we're going to dive into my mock draft here in about 2 seconds. But before we get to that, got to give a big-time shout-out to today's sponsor, Prize Picks. Guys, I know the Saints season is done, but that doesn't mean you can't still make some money. So for today's afternoon slate of games, I'm going Jaylen Warren more rushing yards. They actually gave you a little bit of a discount on that, so it makes it a little bit easier to attain. Josh Allen, 226.5 passing yards in a blizzard. Yeah, that ain't happening, so I'm taking the less there. So if you want to fade my picks, if you want to tail my picks, if you want to make your own picks, just use Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Plug in that promo code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. All that information is in the comment section and description of this video. Because I love you. Shout out to Prize Picks. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. So here's how the mock draft 1.0 shook out. Here's the top 10 picks. Caleb Williams going to the Chicago Bears at number 1 overall. No surprises there. Drake May, number 2. Number 3, Malik Neighbors. 4, Marvin Harrison. 5, Joe Alt. 6, the LSU quarterback is headed to the Big Apple. Rome Odunze is going to the Music City at number 7. Jerzon Newton, the Illinois defensive tackle, is headed to Atlanta. And Fashanu, the offensive tackle out of Penn State, to Chicago as well. And Fuaga, the offensive tackle out of Oregon State, is at number 10. And in terms of 11, 12, and 13, you also have Cooper DeJean. I'm not exactly sure how to say his last name. The cornerback out of Illinois, he is actually going to be the first overall pick for the defensive side of the all-white versus all-black bowl. Joke there. Sorry, guys. Brock Bowers, tight end, Georgia. He had number 12 for the Denver Broncos and headed over to Sean Payton. And at number 13, you got pick 6 Knicks headed to Vegas. So before we dive in, I could see a Marshawn Lattimore trade happening, and I think that it would happen in the first or second round of this draft if it doesn't happen before the 2024 draft. So what would you ask for in a trade for Marshawn Lattimore? Would you want a couple seconds, a third, a player? Let me know what you would want in return for a player like Laddie Daddy. But we don't make a trade in this one, so let's just dive into the pick. I took J.C. Latham, the offensive tackle out of Alabama. I think he's a great football player. 2 sacks, 3 hits, 9 hurries allowed at 6'6", 360 pounds. This dude's massive. And quite honestly, you need somebody on the offensive line because Trevor Penning just hasn't panned out. It's approaching buzz status, but I think Latham could offer some assistance there. And almost an 82 overall PFF grade in 2023. The run blocking grade at just under 80. The pass blocking grade, 81.7. And like we said, 2 sacks allowed. I think that he would be an awesome addition to New Orleans, and I think that he could be a big-time contributor on that offensive line. Round 2, I went Chop Robinson. Name is a Hall of Fame name. That's a great name. I mean, we didn't get Smoke Monday, so let's go get Chop Robinson, the edge rusher out of Penn State, 6'3", 250 pounds. This guy is an animal. 15 tackles, 7.5 tackles for a loss, 4 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. I think that the edge rusher position on New Orleans has to be better. The production for the front four, especially on those exterior sides on the edge rushing position, defensive end position, it hasn't really been that great. Carl Granderson was awesome, but he kind of like started hot, kind of dipped, and then, continued his streak towards the end of the season. Cameron Jordan, he's a legend. I love Cam Jordan. Number 94 will be a Hall of Famer one day, but here's the thing. His production is dipping. He ain't getting any younger. So I think you have to start thinking about the future and go and get a replacement there. Tano Passanio, you see the production on his screen, limited, but it's pretty solid in the limited role we have. And Peyton Turner, this is more of the reason why I would take Chop Robinson or an edge rusher early. Peyton Turner is a bust. He has not panned out. He has not stayed healthy. He has only played in 15 games total in his NFL career. That's not okay. That's not enough for me to justify not drafting an edge rusher. So that's why I'm going Chop Robinson. In round 4, because there is no third-round pick, I'm going with Eddie Ulofoshio. I know that I butchered that pronunciation. I tried it for like 2 minutes before we went and started recording this video, but I tried my hardest right there. The linebacker out of Washington, I'm sure you saw his tape this year. He was outstanding. But why I went and took this guy, the Saints linebacker room isn't really... It's not bad. Let me just start off. It's not bad. Pete Werner, he's great. He was healthy most of the season. He played a lot of football. He had great production. Zach Bond, they finally let him put his hand in the dirt and start rushing the quarterback, and things started going well. It's pretty crazy when that happens. Demario Davis, though, he's getting a little bit older as well, so I think going and getting a guy like Eddie would make some sense for New Orleans. I want some better depth at the linebacker position as well. I need younger depth at the linebacker position. You have Anthony Orji that you signed as a UDFA last offseason, but this is a guy who I think that you could bring in and make an impact, not right away, but he could be a good player that can earn his way into the starting lineup eventually. Hey, shout out to him because he also got put on scholarship. Was not a scholarship player. Washington put him on because of the production. So I think that he is a player that the Saints could really like. James Williams, the safety out of Miami, is my 5th-round pick at number 152. My thing with the safety position is Tyrann Mathieu, great. He's getting a little older. Marcus May, he's Jordan Howden's great. But I think James Williams could be an interesting guy to eventually take over and eventually replace Tyrann Mathieu. 73 tackles, an interception, 5 pass breakups, and 2 forced fumbles for the Hurricanes. I think that James Williams could be could fill a position in need, and I think that he should be at least considered or another safety in the middle rounds of the draft. So round 5, we obviously included extra picks. PFF included those 3 comp picks, so those were all 5th-round picks. Or 5th and 6th round picks for us. So here we go. Malik Washington, the wide receiver out of Virginia. When you see the production, it's pretty insane. It's pretty wild. He has 110 receptions, almost 1,400 yards, or almost 1,500 yards. He has 1,426, 9 touchdowns, and 13 yards per catch. Does this guy not sound like somebody that the Saints could use? I get that. The height and the weight, it's a little low. 5'8", 194, but and you get a small little shifty guy who averages 13 yards a catch in the slot position. Let Rashid Shaheed get back out on the outside. Let A.T. Perry do whatever he's going to do. Let Juwan Johnson get in the mix too. I mean, come on. I'm an advocate for drafting a wide receiver every year because I am a very greedy son of a gun when it comes to wide receiver depth. Here's the next one that I think you guys are going to be pretty intrigued about. Quarterback Jordan Travis from Florida State. Now, obviously, he went down late in the season with an injury and was not able to get the Florida State Seminoles to the college football playoff. However, this kid is talented. 63.9 completion percentage, 2,756 yards, the decision-making, though. 20 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. That's really, really good. He was a very big reason why Keon Coleman had so much success this season. He's a big reason why the Florida State offense was as good as it was. Had Jordan Travis been around, I think that you make an argument for them to maybe make the playoff. But he wasn't around, so he wasn't going to be able to get drafted. Now, his draft stock is kind of all over the place, and he could go anywhere. But my question to you is, what is the biggest draft need for New Orleans? Is it a quarterback? Is it offensive line, corner, safety, linebacker, receiver? What is it? Let me know. It's your turn to be the GM. Tell me what the biggest draft need for New Orleans is. And the last 2 picks that I'm going to round out with are Michael Barrett, the linebacker out of Michigan, and Jaden Crumedy, the defensive tackle out of Mississippi State. I think that the linebacker position needs to get addressed. Barrett, unlike Eddie, he is more of a rushing linebacker, and Eddie is a little bit of a drop back and coverage kind of linebacker. So I think that but you get one of each. It's probably a good day at the office. And then Jaden Crumedy, just to give you some extra depth on that defensive interior, because I think that's an important position that lacks a little bit of depth. It's good. Malcolm Roach is great, but let's get another guy just to have another person in rotation. Obviously, like 6th, 7th round picks don't necessarily always make the roster, but when they do, they usually make an impact. So let's go through my mock draft really quickly. J.C. Latham, Chop Robinson, Eddie Ulo-Fashio, James Williams to round out the top 4 picks, and your last 4, Malik Washington, Jordan Travis, Michael Barrett, and Jaden Crumedy. Guys, I had a lot of fun doing this mock draft. I know that I didn't give you guys a ton of in-depth analysis on each player, but I'm still learning a lot about these later round picks especially. So I want you to grade my mock draft just based on the picks. No trades, just based on the picks. A, B, C, D, or F. If you would have picked anybody else, just let me know in the comment section. And as always, y'all stay golden. We'll see you next.